So we're not on our email or Facebook or something. We're
Okay.
just taking notes, and you'll get that feedback next
Okay.
week.
Okay.
And then after we do the 15 minutes of questions, then we'll move into the tech demo.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
You want to start us off?
Yeah. So first question I have for you is, what were you doing before Year Up, and how did you find out about us? And also, what made you apply for the program? What made you, decide I want to do Year Up?
Okay. Before Year Up, I was working at Southwest Airlines. The reason why I left Southwest is because they offer great benefits as far as you can fly for free and do things like that, but they didn't pay enough to take vacation. So it was good, but it wasn't. So while I was working at Southwest, my best friend went through the program, and she's been extremely successful. I already knew about it, but I just couldn't take the time off to do the program. But at the end of the day, I had to think about it I have to take this one little step back, and I'm gonna have a major comeback from it.
Yeah.
She really encouraged me to do it. She was my main motivation for coming. And then when I came into an informational and I heard more about it, it pushed me to really want to do the program even more. So that's why I had my best friend and then the informational, and it all came together. And I just had to think about my future, and I just see me having a really great future through Year Up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Why do you want to work in tech?
I want to work in tech because it's constantly changing. It's changing for the better. Our world revolves around technology. So to be at the forefront and know what's going on, when it's going on, and things like that, I want to be there. I want to be the person people come to when they have questions. I want to know what's going on, when it happens, and things like that. I feel like tech is number one right now, and it's the place to be.
Great.
Yeah. So next question I have for you is a little longer than the first two questions. And if you need me to repeat anything, let me know, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so what's the biggest challenge or growth area during learning and development? What did you do to overcome this challenge?
One of my biggest challenges was getting an assignment and automatically thinking I can't do this. I was receiving assignments that I had no clue, as far as building a website, CSS, HTML. It was super frustrating because I'm like, what is this? I've never seen this in my life. What is it? So I doubted myself. I kept doubting myself. But on top of doubting myself, I did go and ask for help. I'm like, I can do it, but I can't do it. I'm going back and forth in my head. But to overcome that, I asked for help, and I just put in all the work. I tried, really hard because I wanted to have a successful page. I wanted to prove myself wrong. So at the end of it, I ended up getting an A on my assignment, and it motivated me to keep doing it. Now I'm comfortable with CSS. Now I'm comfortable with HTML. But that was one of the main times that I really, really doubted myself. And I could say even with my narrative speech.
Yeah.
It's I've done all these speeches where I can read off a piece of paper, and I have to go up and do it with nothing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of intimidating. Then I went up there, and it was like a piece of cake. But it's just that doubt right before I do something. I think I really need to work on not doubting myself and just go in and do it.
Yeah. And then when you transition from L&D to internship, it's going to be a different environment, not like Year Up. It's going to be, not as structured in terms of support. How do you plan on putting a handle on that growth area when you make that transition, making sure that you're not doubting yourself when you continue to believe in yourself and working on improving with that self-doubt, lack of confidence?
I would not doubt myself. I would think of how can I get this accomplished instead of saying how can I not get this accomplished. How can I do bad? I'm how can I get this done? And I'll take the necessary steps to get it done. I'll use my resources first. If I can't find the answer through my resources, I use my peers and the people around me. And I'll just know what I can use to get my answers. I won't just go in I can't do this.
Yeah.
I know I have the resources, and I know I have the people around me to get that help.
So instantly adjusting your mindset.
Yes.
Instead of even starting off negative, saying, I can't do this.
I can't do this.
How can I do this?
Right. I feel like I started this week like that. I thought like I can't do it, then I'm like, I can't think like that. So Monday came, I'm like, I'm about to get through this week and I'm gonna make it happen. So it's just changing my mindset, and I think I've already started to work on that.
Great. So you were asked to review some internship descriptions and pick one. Which one did you want to interview for?
I chose PC.
Okay.
The reason why I chose PC is because I'm a very organized person. I think organization is key. Like, if I'm like the person who, if an email is sent out to me and my group of colleagues, the people on my team, and there's 6 of us, we have 6 assignments due, I'm going to be the person to email everybody and say, what are you going to do? What is everybody doing? So we won't all be working on one assignment and we can all complete the assignment at the end. So I'm really like, I pay attention to details, things that needs to get done, and I take lead when it's necessary. I just feel like my leadership and my organization will be perfect in a PC role.
What hard skills are you going to use to be successful in that role?
My hard skills, I would say now, is what I doubted myself on before, but that's if my HTML and my CSS or building a website or doing things like that, I'm really confident and I'm really strong and doing things like that. So that's one of my strongest hard
skills.
Hard skills, sorry.
Yeah. And how do you think you can apply those hard skills to the role as a project coordinator?
I feel like if there's anything that needs to be done, as far as, I just feel like I'm about to mix up my hard sets and my soft skills.
Yeah.
But
And it's okay if you want to restructure how you answer that. If you feel like you're gonna mix it up,
let me think a second.
Yeah.
My hard skills in PC. I'm not sure, because I'm thinking of all my soft skills as far as creating events or creating things.
How about
like
this?
that.
Think about a tool that you'll use when you go to project management.
Oh.
Like, what is something you're going to use to help you?
That's better.
Yeah.
So, of course, I would probably use Excel,
There you go.
because Excel, I can keep up with a lot of data, things that's going on, and I'm able to share that information with people on my team because I am somewhat comfortable with Excel, and I'm only getting better with it.
We'll take the next one and go back to me.
Okay, sure. During your first week of internship, what will you do to get off on the right foot?
The first week of internship, I would introduce myself to my team and get to know the people on my team as well, and ask what the norms are. I would ask questions about what a typical day looks like. I would want to know how can I be an asset to the group and what I can do and what I probably shouldn't do. But I would definitely want to get to know my team and whoever my lead or manager is, even if they're like in town often or they're not in town, I want to know who this person is and things like that, so I can go into my next week like ready to work and know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. And the next question I have for you, T, is tell me a time you felt you were going to fail, but you worked hard to succeed. You was able to change direction. You felt like, something was going.
One time I felt like I was going to fail was at my job prior to Southwest. I was working at Sprint PCS, and it was a time I had a customer come in and she wanted a cell phone, and I was able to get it to her, and she couldn't get it that day. So I told her to come in the next day. I had these numbers to me, so I really needed this cell. I told her to come in the next day. When she came in, I was working with another customer, and easily she could have went to someone else. So I'm like, I need these new lines. I need to meet these numbers. How can I make this work? So I continued to help the customer I was with. I let her know that I would be with her in a second. It obviously took a while, and I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking she's going to not come to me. I'm not going to meet my numbers. It's the last day of the month. And it's just like, I just assumed that I was going to fail. Like, I'm not going to meet my numbers, and I was getting super frustrated. But with me communicating with her and letting her know that I was going to be right with her, and while I was working with the other customer, while like their phones are activated, I'm multitasking. So I'm getting over to another computer, starting her up so I can keep these sales. And also at the end of the day, I was able to help both customers, but it was like in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's other agents open. She could just go to them and give my cell away. But because I communicated with her what was going on and that I'd be with her, she came to me and I was able to meet my numbers that month. And it was crazy because I had 2 new lines that I needed to get, and those were my 2 new lines that I got.
Yeah.
That's great. I want you to imagine that you're at internship and your manager works remotely. So they work on the East Coast and out of New York, and they're super busy and hard to get in touch with. You have a lot of downtime at your internship. You don't have a lot of work to do, and you're kind of wondering what you should be doing with your time. So walk me through what you would do in that situation.
So I would still send him out a message and ask him, is there anything that he would like me to do? Of course, he's super busy, so he may not get back to me. So I would go to someone on my team or someone around me and see how I can help them. I'll let them know my situation, that I've done my work, I'm done, and I'm willing to help. I have nothing else to do. And I would just open myself up to my colleagues around me and let them know that I'm here to help. So I would definitely help my colleagues where they need help or anything like that. I wouldn't just sit around. I would definitely help.
Great.
All right. So another question I have for you, we have about 3-4 minutes left, is what's been one of your biggest accomplishments since you've been here at Europe? What's something that you're extremely proud of?
I have 2 things that I'm really proud of so far. At the end of Module 1, I received a Professionalism Award, and I was super proud. Like, I don't win awards. So when they called my name, it was just like, oh my God, I won something because I was being professional. I was being nice to everyone around me. I was just doing what I was supposed to do. And I received an award for it. And my second award I received was the elevator pitch. I came in 2nd place. And I was so nervous about it. Like, I have to tell you about me in 30 seconds. Like, how can I do that? And I ended up coming in 2nd place. So it was, like, really rewarding to receive those awards for just kind of doing what you're supposed to do and working hard for something that you really wanted.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's see. Tell me about a conflict that you've experienced in the workplace and how you handled it.
Conflict in the workplace. When I was working at Southwest, I worked on the ramp. And this is where you load the bags and you push the airplane out and do things like that. So we had, on the ramp, you have your team. It's like usually 2 on each plane. It's the lead and the assist. And I was the assist. And I didn't think it was fair because the assists do the heaviest bend, the assists do all the heavy work. So I asked the lead, can we switch back and forth? And he didn't want to switch back and forth. So I took it upon myself to go talk to my supervisor and let him know, like, it would be fair if somebody's the lead one time and somebody's the assist the other time, so the assist doesn't get so tired from doing back-to-back heavy flights. And my supervisor agreed. He was like, that sounds like a great idea. You guys can do it that way. So on the ramp, my partner was mad that I asked, can we do it that way? And he confronted me about it, and he said I shouldn't have went, and I'm a snitch, and all these different things. And I just sat there, and I took it in for a second, and then after our flight was over, I pulled him to the side, and I let him know, like, first, you're not going to talk to me like that. We can speak to each other like adults. And I explained to him why I felt like it was fair that we did it that way. And initially, he was still mad, but at the end of the day, he came up to me, and he was like, I shouldn't have spoke to you that way. And he said, I completely agree, because he said, sometimes I'm the assist. And it is a lot of work on me, and it is a lot of work on my back. So to switch off makes sense. But it could have been bigger than what it was. But because I did talk to him the way I did and let him know my reasoning behind what I did, I think he was more accepting of it, rather than me just saying, I did it because I wanted to. I didn't want to do the heavy bend anymore. But I explained to him why I thought it was fair. So.
Yeah, that's a great response, because you could have went two ways, right? The first time you asked him and you disagree with it, you could have responded in a negative way, but you didn't, and
Right.
you took the right steps to reach out to your supervisor about it. And then when he was able to implement those changes and you reacted negatively again, you were patient and you maintained a positive attitude, and then you know, you gave him that feedback. So
Right.
it's a great way to handle it.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the tech demo.
Okay.